My name is Dana. I am a certified health coach, certified personal trainer, and licensed cosmetologist. I am a huge fan of cleaner cosmetics, and I decided to research certain ingredients and share my findings with you. The links to my sources will be in the description. And with all that said, let's go. Today's product is Lime Crimes Velveteen's Liquid Lipstick in Cupid. Here is the product. Can you see it? I think so. It is a liquid matte lipstick. Goes on liquid, dries matte. And it is a kiss-proof lipstick, meaning it doesn't transfer very easily. Today's ingredient focus is dimethicone, and it has several different names when it comes to being ingredients for cosmetics, and I'm going to read the listing of some of the names that you'll find it as in your cosmetics. It's known as vinyl dimethicone cross polymer, PEG, PPG, 18 dimethicone, cetyl dimethicone, acrylate / dimethicone copolymer. And that's just a few of the names that it goes by. It is technically a man-made ingredient. It comes from silicates, which is silicone, dimethicone, silicone, and the silicates is like where glass comes from, sand, and so that is what dimethicone originates from. Now, I've linked the this really great source in the product description, and it's really helpful, really thorough into going into how it's made, what it's mixed with in order to get dimethicone, what the silicates are mixed with to get dimethicone. It lists polymers and monomers and copolymers. So if you're into chemistry and science like that, then it would be a good source for you to check out. I didn't understand quite everything because I don't have a chemistry background, but that's okay. It was just really interesting to see the breakdown of dimethicone, what it's mixed with to make other ingredients such as like the PEG, PPG, and it doesn't really tell you exactly every single thing that it's mixed with, but it gives you a good idea. I'm actually using a new foundation. I won't go into detail about what that is. It's really good. I finally found a shade that matches with my skin. I'm excited. It's supposed to be really good. I think I'll do a review on that some other time, but today we're just going over dimethicone. The forms of dimethicone used in this particular lip product are rated on the EWG website as a 3, mainly for use restrictions, because the EWG website didn't look into this particular product in depth. I can't tell you what the use restrictions were, so it's kind of like a generalization because of possible contaminants. Now again, the EWG website is just for information purposes, and it doesn't, if it didn't research an actual cosmetic. Can you hear my dog chewing on her toy? She's like destroying her toy. She does that. Anyway, so it doesn't, unless it has, the website has thoroughly looked into a particular ingredient, it's not going to give you a full, thorough breakdown as to why it was rated that, unless they researched it. So like I said, this one's rated a 3. Like I said, for use restrictions, and the only thing I could think of that, based on what the EWG website said about these particular forms of dimethicone being rated a 3, is possible contamination. And we'll go into that a little bit more in the concerns. The way it's made, like I had mentioned before in the beginning of this video, is that it is mixed. So the dimethicone product is sent to the manufacturing place as like a gel. In the paperwork, if you actually go follow the links, you'll see in depth as to how it's made or mixed. But when the manufacturing plant receives it, that's when they mix it with whatever other ingredients that they need to make it the form of dimethicone that the cosmetics companies need. So again, it's all dependent on what forms the cosmetics companies need that dimethicone to be in, is what determines what the dimethicone is going to be mixed with. So like I said, the dimethicone is mixed with other ingredients, and it comes from sand or silicates, silicone. So that's what it begins as, or where it came from originally. So I spoke about use restrictions from the EWG website, and any element that you get, any product or ingredient that you get sourced from the earth, needs to be taken into consideration in that, yeah, it's natural and organic because it comes from the earth, but you also have to think about what other elements it came into contact with, what that particular ingredient came into contact with while it was in the ground or in a mine or wherever that particular ingredient was sourced from. So really the only way you can know if the manufacturing company even knows the answer to the question where that ingredient was sourced from, if it was from like a dedicated mine or place in the ground, where it came from, if it has a low or a high contamination risk. So what I've done in the past is I've emailed companies to ask them that question, and some know, others don't really know. So when it comes to that, you might want to decide for yourself whether that's something you want to use or not. The purpose of dimethicone in products is to give, just to name a few, is to provide what's called slip. like when you're in the shower, just think of like your conditioner and you wash your hair and then you condition it. And just the way it easily detangles and it just feels like smoother, slicker. That's how you would describe slip. Just, you know, slippery, gets through your fingers and a comb. It also conditions. It can also give a plumping effect. I don't think that is one of the... I don't think plumping is what this liquid lip product does. If it does, that'd be great. If not, I don't think so. It doesn't promise a plump, so I'm not going to say that it does. I'm not going to put words in its mouth. So, dimethicone has many uses. And because of that, there are actually a ton of products that contain dimethicone. Again, always check your ingredients list. And remember, the ingredients that are used, that the product contains that has the most of it, will be listed at the top. And then towards the bottom is the less concentration or the less amount used of that ingredient in your cosmetics product. For this case, I think dimethicone was in the middle, and another form of it was towards the end. So it's not, from looking at the ingredients list, it didn't look like there were a lot of dimethicone, like, I wouldn't say concentration, but there was more of other ingredients other than dimethicone at the top. Another interesting thing about dimethicone is that it is mixed with certain kinds of ingredients that are either hydrophilic, which means it attracts water easily, which would be the forms that are needed for like conditioning, conditioners, moisturizers, you know, lotions, those kinds of products. Those would be needed to attract moisture in the air so that they could do their job and moisturize the skin better. And if a different form is needed to repel moisture, that would be, they would be mixed with hydrophobic ingredients. So I can't think off the top of my head of ingredients you would need, or a product you would need to be hydrophobic. But I'm sure they're out there. Now, something I didn't think about, I didn't realize, is that dimethicone is actually also used in aerosol products. So if there is a product that you spray, maybe like a sunscreen, or maybe even a hairspray, a conditioning spray, you would use some of those products contain dimethicone. And so I know I always cover concerns, which I will be covering concerns, but I'm going to mention this right now. One of the concerns might be that it's inhaled, but it turns out that the particles, the size of the particles of dimethicone that's used in aerosol products is actually too big to go into the lungs. So the particles, when inhaled, can get stuck into the, or trapped, stuck, will stop, at the nasal passages. So I'm probably guessing, don't quote me on this, I'm guessing that anything that gets stuck in the nasal passages can be washed away with like a nasal wash. I use a neti pot often because I have allergies and I'm actually allergic to my dogs. I know that's like a sad thing I came to this year, that I realized I'm allergic to my dogs, but I love them. I love my allergens. But yeah, that's something that I deal with. But anyway, I use a neti pot to wash away the, you know, like the dander and anything else that gets stuck in my nasal passages that I inhale. I'll go into safety concerns now. I just mentioned one, the concern about dimethicone in aerosols. And we already talked about that one and how it really isn't too much of a concern, which is good. Another concern is, okay, back in the day, years ago, I knew a lady who was in an MLM company, and I'm not going to mention which one, but it was like a natural, quote unquote, natural company, and she was like really into natural products back then. I'm sure she is now. I haven't really talked to her. But anyway, back then, she was actually the one that brought the whole dimethicone to my attention. And she was like, it's horrible. It's like shrink wrap for the skin. And I was like, oh man, shrink wrap for the skin. Who wants to use that? So, that was, you know, a concern. So ever since then, I had tried to do my best to limit the amount of dimethicone that I would find in my products, just by reading the ingredients list and deciding for myself whether that's something that I wanted to use or not. Okay, so I just went in with my big fluffy brush. It's not super fluffy as I've seen other fluffy brushes, but I use this to blend in my contour and setting powder and my blush. So if you could see, it's all kind of mixed together. And especially when you do use contour, you want to make sure that you buff it out really well, just to make sure that it all, oh my gosh, I just got myself in the eye. You want to make sure that you get all of the product blended, because you don't want to see lines. And you can't really tell with the lighting, the way I did my makeup. I can see the contour, but I'm not a big, huge, heavy makeup applier. I'm not a huge makeup applier, like heavy makeup application. I don't like to do that. So I like for it to look as natural as possible, with a little bit of, you know, I want it to look a little nice, but especially for the day. But I don't want it to be so heavy that it's just uncomfortable looking. And I'm going in and I'm lining my eyes in the winged liner look that I like to do. And I know I have hooded eyes, but I still like the look of a winged liner. And there's my little flick. I'll do the other eye. I don't line in my waterline because my eyes don't like to have product in the waterline, especially when my eyes water. And it's just not fun. I was talking about concerns. Okay, so for the concerns, there are concerns about petroleum. I've read online about people being afraid that it is a petroleum-based product and that they don't want to use anything that's petroleum-based, which I get. However, dimethicone, like I said, comes from silicates or silicone, and it is not actually a petroleum-based product. Now, I'm going to use the same color that I used on the outside. I'm using the Milani Gilded Terra palette, and I'm using Branch Out. I used Branch Out here, and I'm going to just kind of tap it to line the outside of my eye. And I only line like the outer 2/3. I don't like to do a full line around it because to me it just makes my eyes look smaller. And I do this step after I put on my, obviously I put on my lower, I put the concealer on under my eye, but I put this on after I've done that and kind of baked it, set it, so that if I do it before, it's just gonna mess it up. So that's just a little fun tip. Okay, petroleum based. So it's not petroleum based because it comes from silicone. Can it be mixed with petroleum products? Possibly. Okay, I'm going to do the school marm with my glasses so I can see what I'm doing with my eyebrows. I know it bugs me to have them like this on the tip of my nose, but I do it so I can see what I'm doing to my eyebrows. I'm using Kosa's, I think that's how you say it, Airbrow in clear because I have crazy unruly brows. I trim them and they're still crazy. So I like the clear gel to set it before I finish them up. Today I'm going to finish up my eyebrows. Just add a little bit of color and fill in some of the sparseness with, of course, 100% pure. This is medium brown eyebrow. It doesn't really say what it is. It just says medium brown eyebrow gel. It's 100% pure. Okay, so I'm going to brush up my eyebrows. Try not to mess up my eyeshadow. And of course, one eyebrow is fuller and actually sits higher on my face than the other. So trying to get them even, it's a bit of a challenge. Do I ever? No. No, but that's okay. I'll just walk around like this, doing the Elvis. Okay, now that my eyebrows have the gel in them, the clear gel, I got my angled liner shader brush, and I'm going to just pick up a little bit of the gel color That's what it looks like. 100% pure, as always. I'm a huge fan. Am I sponsored by them? No. Yet. I could be. Huh? 100% pure? Maybe. Okay, I'm going to start with my left eyebrow, because even though that seems to be the fuller eyebrow, when I end up doing my right eyebrow first, my left one just, I can't get it to match up. So it's kind of frustrating. And I'm not going to fully darken them so much where I look like Groucho Marx, but just enough to fill in some of the areas where I am lacking. Over the years, I have not been the nicest to my eyebrows, and so I'm pretty much paying the price for it. So there you go. So I'm just doing like a kind of a pounce. I would like to just be able to paint in individual hairs, but because of the product, it's not, it doesn't let me do that, which is fine. So like I said, I'm not going to fully fill them in, but just enough to give my brows some definition. Okay, are they like super perfect? No, but that's okay. Okay, I'm gonna take off my glasses, and time for curling the lashes and mascara. Okay, so another concern I found was that some people say that they're allergic to dimethicone, and one of the other sources I found said that pretty much that's a myth, that it's not, dimethicone isn't something that people are actually allergic to, that it's something, another ingredient that's mixed in to the product that the person's using, that they're actually allergic to. But again, that's just what the source said. If you do find that you're allergic to the ingredients, of course stop using that product. And then you might want to make a list of the ingredients that are in that product that you seem to be allergic to, because maybe that's something that you need to stay away from. And so, as with cosmetics, the FDA does regulate the amount of dimethicone used and the safety of it. It is a safe, it's considered a safe product or ingredient to use by the FDA. And something I found interesting is that, I mean, a lot of people I find don't really trust the FDA, and so I guess because a lot of the times we'll find that the FDA has allowed certain ingredients in the United States, and that they tend to be banned. Certain ones are actually banned in like Europe. So the thing I found interesting about dimethicone is that it is also considered safe to use in Europe. So Europe also allows dimethicone to be used as an ingredient in their products. So for the most part, dimethicone seems to be a safe ingredient to use in products. Should you use it is a question I always ask. And the answer is always, it's up to you. But, of course, it's always good to educate yourself about products and see if they are safe to use. If you still have a reason to not use dimethicone, of course, by all means, don't use it. But if it was just something that you thought, well, maybe I shouldn't use it because it has, it's made from petroleum, that's something you don't have to worry about. I'll be honest, I've been avoiding it like the plague because of the whole shrink wrap thing. But now that I realize, or have learned that it's not too much of a problem, I'll be honest, I still limit my in my cosmetics that contain dimethicone, but I do love this lip product so much that I'm making an exception for this. Okay, so here's something I did. I found during the week I was experimenting with my lip look, and I like to draw a little bit outside of my upper lip line, because it's just, for me, it looks out of balance with my lower lip. And plus, in the 50s, they used to overline their lips and give them like that poutier or like rounder, it looks like Valentine's look to their lips. So I don't do that as much anymore. But normally when you line your lips, you line them before you put on your lipstick. Wow, I found this. So first I'm going to use my lip color, and I'm going to line my lips following my natural lip line. I'm going to do my lower lip. And it is a liquid lip color, which means it's a liquid lip color, but it's a matte finish. So it starts off as a liquid and then it dries to a matte. And I could feel it. And it feels a little sticky, but that's okay. So I'm going to give it a little bit of time before I move on to the next step, because I don't want to mix. I don't want to kind of mess up the look I'm going to show you. So I'm going to give it a few seconds. Okay, so it should be dry. It's a little bit dry now. It's still a little tacky. They actually sell a different like lip primer for the Valentine's liquid lipstick, which I'm thinking of getting because it's supposed to, one, hold it a lot better. I mean, this is a great lipstick. It really does hold true to a kissable lipstick. I kiss my husband and it doesn't transfer onto his face. But still, maybe it helps with the tackiness. I mean, it goes away anyway. Okay, I'm going to use a color that's slightly darker than this. It is a unique color. I used to sell Unique back in the day. Not my proudest moment. But anyway, I still have some of the makeup from it. And this is Pompous. Do they still have it? I don't know. I'll probably eventually find a different color. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to line slightly outside my natural lip line just to give my upper lip that fuller look. And I'll admit I carried it a little bit down into the lipstick. Now for my lower lip, I'm going to stay with my natural lip line. You can tell it's a little tacky, watch. Maybe that's the dimethicone. I don't know. Maybe that's the hydrophobic ingredient in dimethicone. I don't know. That would be interesting. So this is my look. I'll take off my glasses. So what do you think? Do you like it? Is this something you would try yourself? I don't know. Today is Barbie Day. I'm actually wearing my Barbie shirt. I see Barbie. So I was feeling a little pinky today, and this is my Dana I used to make these back in the day. I don't anymore. I still have my patterns, but my sewing machine is a little down. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was very informative for you. Do you find that you avoid dimethicone? Let me know in the comments section. And I would love to have you back again next week. My next video is going to be on titanium dioxide, just like I promised last week. So I hope you had a good time. I am always glad to have you join me, and I'm looking forward to seeing you slip into my comments and let me know if you use it, if you like the look. Thanks for joining me, and you have a good rest of the day. Bye!